Welcome, Natalie here, and today I am talking about the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I've read this book a few times and I recently reread it again the last few months, and it had such a wonderful impact on me that I just wanted to tell everyone about it. It's one of those books that you can read and reread every year, every couple of years, and when you're in a different stage of your life, you'll get something different out of it, which is absolutely amazing. So in this video, what you're going to learn is the basic concepts that he talks about in the book, what the ego is, where your pain comes from, and how to start creating more consciousness and more presence, living in the now in your life. To be in the now means to be completely present. And when you're completely present, you don't have that internal dialogue going. So there's no mind chatter. You're not really thinking about anything. You have no likes, dislikes. You're not judging. And there's not really any interpretation of what's going on. It's actually a state of quiet, a state of meditation almost, a state of peace, where you're in the present moment without all of the mind chatter that labels everything. And this is what it means to be conscious. So when you hear people talk about consciousness and raising your conscious awareness, it's about being present without the judgment, without the analytical side of your brain labeling and putting everything into a box. It's really about being completely present and tapping into the present moment with all the energy that there is there. The egoic mind is a deep-seated sense of lack or incompleteness, of not being whole. And it's a bit of a bottomless pit that needs to be fed. So your ego is connected to that mind chatter that you have going on, that internal dialogue. And that internal dialogue, it actually creates a sense of emptiness, something that needs to be fulfilled. And we fulfill that emptiness with a lot of things that are just instant gratification, whether it's food, possessions, money, success, even, things like needing recognition from others, or using relationships to fulfill you, or a career to fulfill you, or your children to fulfill you. It's the need to fulfill this void and this emptiness. And that's what your ego is, because in reality, the truth is you are a complete, whole individual. You are perfect just as you are. Your energy system is absolutely pure. And you can see that in a child. When they're very, very young and they just are who they are, and they're just happy and they're just there and they're just observing the world. That's our true state of being. And the mind chatter and all the thoughts and the dialogue that goes on in our mind pulls us away from being full, present, and fulfilled, and really understanding that we are this great energy source. The ego rips us away from that and makes us feel like we're not good enough, and that we have to fulfill these voids, or we need to do all of these different things in order to be fulfilled. Pain is non-acceptance. It's an unconscious resistance to what is, and it's mind identification. So pain comes from being identified with the ego, being identified with your repetitive thoughts, the things that you think about, all the judgments, the analyticals, I like this, I don't like that, I'm not good enough, I need to do this, I need to be successful, I need to have money, all of those things. Those are the kind of things in life that cause us pain. We become identified with time as well. So our thoughts are typically thoughts of something that's happened in the past, or you're worried and fearful of something that's going to happen in the future. And as you think about a past situation, maybe a relationship or something, and you're afraid that that person's going to do something to you in the future, you're not living in the present moment. You're living in your thoughts, and you're identified with moments of time that are not in the here and now. This may be a hard concept to kind of pick up at first, but all pain comes from identification with the past, with the future, with any thoughts, any judgments, likes and dislikes that are not of this present moment. Because if you're truly living in the present moment, there is no thought associated with this moment. So if I were to get really quiet right now, and just be, I'm in the present moment. I'm there. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm not worried about what you're thinking of me and how you're judging me because I took a moment of silence, or maybe you don't like the way I look today, or whatever it may be. It's about being present. Now, this is something that takes a little bit of practice in order to be present. And meditation is a great way to get there. And I have a video specifically on how to meditate to get quiet and to become more present. And I'm going to put that link in the description of this YouTube video below so you can watch that after this. But the power of now is about being present. It's about letting go of all the junk. It's about letting go of all the judgment and just being here right now. You cannot be unhappy and be fully present in the moment at the same time. It's just like you can't be completely angry and in a total state of bliss and love at the same time. If you're present, then you won't have any negativity that you're holding on to. You can't be present and be negative or feel any kind of resistance or worry or grief or sadness or fear or stress. All of those things, uneasiness, anxiety, none of that can be present in you if you're present in the moment. So it's about starting to learn how to disconnect and let go of all that junk that we really no longer need. It comes from a lot of other places, and if you're present in the moment and living in the now, then you won't have a lot of that baggage that really just weighs us down and prevents us from reaching our goals or prevents us from living in the state of being that we really want to live in. The best indicator for your level of consciousness is how you deal with life challenges. So when things get tough, when shit hits the fan, how are you dealing with those situations? Do you go under? Do you get angry? Do you get sad? Do you get emotional? Do you get frustrated? Do you get into a state of anxiety and worry when things go wrong? Because if those are the kind of emotions and feelings and reactions that you're experiencing when life throws challenges at you, you're not in a conscious state. You're identified with the thoughts in your head. You're identified with your mind, and you're not present and in the moment. You're not really there. You're in your mind, and your mind is creating stories of what's going to happen in the future, or, oh my goodness, this is so horrible. This is going to ruin that relationship that I've had for so many years. There's so many things that run in our minds, and most of it's not even real. We create that state. So life's challenges allow us to see if we're in a conscious state or not. Now, if you have trouble in those moments, that's going to indicate where you're at. But also start to notice if you have difficulty being in a state of now, being in a state of peace and complete relaxation, letting go of the thoughts, letting go of all that junk in your mind when you're just going for a walk. Whether you go for a walk on the beach or in the woods, if you can't get quiet and be present then, how are you ever going to be present when life throws roadblocks at you? When you get in a fight with a coworker or a family member, when your car breaks down and you're going to be late for a meeting, how are you going to deal with life if you can't deal with it in those quiet moments? So it starts with practicing your presence outside of those crazy moments, because otherwise it's just not going to work, right? So meditation is a great way to start to practice quieting your mind while you're going for a walk, or maybe when you're driving. Get quiet, be aware of what's around you. Start to bring that presence into the everyday life, into the moments where you're getting up and getting ready for your day. Because if you can start to quiet your mind and be fully present and aware and in your own power and tapped into that energy source in those very quiet, restful moments, then you'll have the power and the ability, you'll know how to do it, so that when life throws challenges at you, you have that in your toolbox. You've already experienced it. You've already been practicing it. And so that when life's bigger challenges start to come around, they're not so big anymore. Maybe they are to some people, but you are in a state of control. You're in a state of, okay, this is not as bad as I once may have thought it to be. We can really easily overreact with small life situations. People that have road rage, they're on the freeway and they know every day this is just how it is on the 405 in LA, but they're really angry. And it's like, you do that every day. You know how it's going to be. So why are you putting yourself in that internal state? Why are you honking your horn? Why are you weaving in and out and cutting people off and almost hitting someone's bumper when you could just accept it and go with the flow? And you'll get there in just about the same amount of time, and you'll be in a state of peace, and you'll be putting out that vibration of wonderfulness that's then going to come back into your life. So you have the choice of creating your own internal state, and a lot of it comes from getting present, from being in the moment, from clearing your mind, letting go of all the judgments, dislikes, and all that junk, and raising your conscious awareness to being in the now. The big takeaways of this book are: narrow your attention down to the present moment and stop labeling things. Don't label things as good and bad, likes and dislikes, judging and analyzing. Just allow things to be as they are. Let go of all of your resistance. Start to get quiet and start to let go of that judgment in your life, because judgment causes resistance, and there's no way you can have a state of internal peace when you have a lot of resistance in your life. So just start to notice, start to be more aware, raise your consciousness, and practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is so important, because if you're not forgiving yourself and others, then you're holding on to some negativity, and it's blocking you from really being present and living the life that you want to live. It's important to learn how to surrender. And by surrender, it's not being passive. Surrender meaning allow yourself to go with the flow of life instead of being in resistance to everything that happens to you. Just accept things as they come out with you and live your life in the moment, because all we really have is this present moment. The past doesn't exist and the future doesn't exist. All we have is one present moment followed by another present moment and another present moment and another present moment. So moment and moment and moment, the now is how we're really living life. What you think of as the past in that moment was a present moment, and now it's just a memory. It's gone. It's completely left. So there's no reason to be focusing on that. If you really want to be successful, all you really have is the here and the now. So start to be aware of that concept and start to live in the now. Live with meaning. You know, it's important to understand there are consequences to life, so be intentional. Do your best. Start to create success in this present moment. Every present moment should have success and beauty and love and life in it, okay? I hope this gave you some inspiration to start to read the book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's absolutely amazing. It will completely change your life, I promise you. Even if you don't get it at first and you know it's a little bit of a struggle, keep reading, keep applying it to your life, because every time you read and reread this book, you're going to get something totally different out of it. As we evolve, the words hit you in a deeper way. And there's a dozen books that I've read multiple times because they really hit you in your soul and allow you to open up on a deeper level and get more out of life. And this is definitely one of those books. So if this inspired you to start reading and practicing more presence, creating a deeper spiritual life that allows you to really live in the state that you want to be living in with more satisfaction, please like this video, share this video with anyone that you think would get a lot out of this or might also be inspired to read this book. I would love to hear from you if you've read this book, and I'd love to hear some of the wonderful things that you've gotten out of it, so comment on this video. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can get more updates with wonderful videos like this that help you to step into your own power, creating the life that you really want to have by attracting more abundance through the power of attraction and manifesting the life of your dreams. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes that I have coming up, and I hope you have a wonderful, blessed day.